It's the Southside. No, it's not the Southside Steve morning show, is it? It's the Yeah Come On podcast.
It's not even called the Southside Steve morning show. It's called the Southside Ride.
That's what I wanted it to be, but that didn't work out. That's what this podcast is all about. Throwing spaghetti at the wall. Your dreams, do they come true? Are they tampered with? Or does the end result not look like anything you started with? This is the show. It's about life, liberty, and the pursuit of show business. The Yeah Come On Show podcast, brought to you by Yeah Come On Bourbon Whiskey. I suggest you drink it. The greatest 80 proof ever. Wouldn't you say? Smooth.
I told you, I've gotten
a little smoke on it.
I've gotten into trouble drinking too much of that because it's so smooth.
It is so smooth.
I have to watch it.
And the reason it works today and has smoke on it is because our guest coming up is all about the smoke. I kid you not. So the Yeah Come On Show, life, liberty, the pursuit of show business. People that are doing exactly what they want to do. Did it work? Did you go through your second mortgage, or you're on a third mortgage, or on your second or third wife? But everybody has that dream.
But I'm not giving up.
You're not giving up.
No, here we are.
And our guest did not give up. We're going to find out how he got to where he is. He threw spaghetti at the wall, and it stuck. His name is Joe. I'll let him introduce himself. He runs a big company. He has a partner. It's called the Georgia Hemp Company, and he is our guest on the Yeah Come On Show podcast today. Hey, Joe.
What?
It's Joe Salone with us right now from the Georgia Hemp Company. And, dude, you like to have a lot of fun.
I like to have fun, yeah.
You do.
I think fun's a passion.
It is, and that's what you wanted. So when you look at you, and by the way, this is short hair for Joe. His hair's usually a lot longer. He throws golf tournaments. He's about hemp. He's about having a good time. But that wasn't always what Joe did. Where did it start for you? What was, like, college or no college?
Yeah, I went to Kennesaw State University.
Okay.
Yep, spent 6.5 years there.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit too long.
No.
I got 2 degrees. We got 2 degrees, so we did it.
Do you? What are your degrees?
So the first one's in management, focused on entrepreneurship, right? And then if I was going to own a business, I needed to know how to do marketing. So I went ahead and got a marketing degree as well.
So you have a marketing degree, and I want to pump your marketing company right now, Karen West. And you have some people here out of camera shot that have even legitimized your business even more and actually help you.
Yeah, I think partners, as you get going in any business, is super important. Having a trust circle and having your partners in your trust circle be able to rely on them and execute for you is very important.
Yeah.
And so we found one of the best in the city, and they go to bat for us every day.
Yeah, and what's the name of that agency?
Karen West PR.
Making sure I got it right. Karen West PR. I want to give her props. I've known her for years. And you see these people come up, and they're doing it, and then all of a sudden they're doing it on a large scale. So I love the fact that you're a client. Joe and I became friends on a golf tournament several years ago. People were like, you need to meet Joe. But I knew about you before I met you because I knew the Georgia Hemp Company. So when you come out of Kennesaw State, what is your company? You want to be an entrepreneur?
Yeah, I actually wrote business plans in college about cannabis. And
Really?
Our teachers would make us change the word weed or cannabis to widget. Right, business is business. The structure and the plans are all the same, but the product you could just interchange pretty easily. I did have a photography company in college. We took pictures of weddings, sporting events, and we made a girls' calendar, actually, the first ever Girls of KSU calendar. And so we helped these models create a portfolio. We sold ads in the calendar, and our real goal there at the time when I was there in the early 2000s was to bring the community and the students together. And that really wasn't happening there in the Kennesaw community. We were 23,000 strong. So I was trying to have ads in the calendar that would be directly related to the students and have some beneficial.
Yeah, it was crazy. My nephew graduated from Kennesaw as well. He was on a 7-year plan. So
Yeah.
But you know what? A lot of schools like that, even I did Georgia State, Jeff did Georgia State. You're taking a class a quarter, where they were quarters in, not even semesters, because you're working to put yourself through. And I think schools like that, that's why the 6 and 7 years come in. It's just because you can't take a full load because you're working.
I worked every single semester.
That's brutal.
I worked every single semester. Absolutely.
I started at Kennesaw. I did like 2 or 3 years at Kennesaw and then a couple of years at Georgia State.
Most people end their careers at Kennesaw. They usually come in from other states.
Well, when I went, it was still Kennesaw State College. It hadn't been a university yet. And you're right, there was no community back then. It was a commuter school. Like I was like there was not a lot of freshmen at 18 years old. They were all in their 30s.
That's absolutely correct.
And I remember Rhubarb was there, Rhubarb Jones, who I worked with in 07. It was a Rhubarb, Dallas, and Southside morning show on 106.7. And he's like, no, Southside, I'm a professor now. It's what I always wanted to do. And I need you to come in and talk to my students and tell them about radio. But don't use any of them nasty words that you used on that regular guy's show. You know, because Rhubarb played the Holy Roller, you know. But in real life, Southside Steve on air, horrible person. In real life, pretty good guy. Thank you, Joe. But no, it's interesting what Georgia State and Kennesaw have done for people, but it gave you the business idea, and I do think it's important. I think a lot of people, you know, is college good for you or not? It sounds like it was good for you.
I had a great time. It allowed me to develop. It allowed me to do some projects that eventually were relatable in the real life world and all my regular stuff. So I got into advertising and communications shortly after I got out of college. We were doing recruiting advertising for the transportation industry. We were helping trucking companies get drivers.
Awesome.
Then I went into the hair industry for a little while. Flicking it. Helping the hair cuttery with over 1,000 stores nationwide. I was doing some regional marketing for them.
Wow.
And then I went to work in radio at Sports Radio 790 The Zone. What I really kind of garnered from all this, and whether I was helping stylists make budget and make money and commission, or it was helping small businesses on the radio like you do every day, you are directly impacting the community you were part of. And that felt really cool, right? It was ground zero. You were helping a local business owner execute a marketing plan or strategy so they could get more business. And that was always really neat.
No, and I love that. And you and I are very similar, except I think you smoke more in a week than I've smoked in my lifetime. But, you know, I like pot. Who didn't like pot? But what we're not talking about exactly pot. But then again, we are. That's what we're about to get into. Semantics, it is. But then, you know, college, like what you're talking about, what you did, you and I have similar paths. I was in advertising. I got on 88.5 at Georgia State, which launched me into 96 awesome. Rock. I thought I was going to be a stand-up comedian. I was a professional bartender, making great money bartending just to play for school. And it's like you look at people, and maybe you out there doing the same thing, and that is the purpose of the Yeah Come On show. Again, life, liberty, and the pursuit of show business. And this is show business because he's doing exactly what he wants. And Jeff, what is our basic trait? What is our main word? What is our tagline?
Unsolicited material.
So when it comes to unsolicited material, how much have you put out there? How much have you put out there?
I mean, a lot. I mean, social media helps you put a lot out there, right? But my whole life has been put out there. Ever since I left the corporate career to go into this endeavor to help patients with access to cannabis, my whole life has been on record.
Okay.
I've even had the DFACS, the Department of Family Child Services, at my door a few times because of what I'm doing.
Spanking kids in the front yard?
Apparently so. Absolutely not, but your career comes into question and people will, you know, at the school or somebody has a concern, and sometimes you have to put those concerns.
When did it change in Georgia where you could have the CBD and the Delta 8s or all this stuff popped up? It's relatively new,
yeah,
right?
You got a couple farm bills in 2016 and 2018 that impacted some stuff. So 2018 was the main farm bill that really passed nationally that allowed hemp research and hemp growing and hemp products to kind of start moving. And so at that point, 2017, we launched, started opening a store the next year, as well as be part of festivals, and CBD was our core product line. And then as things progressed, science kind of was updated, and within the rules of the Farm Bill, we were able to increase THC percentages, and we were able to introduce some new products that helped us compete with a regulated market. So yeah, it's a very cool, interesting business case study of a medical cannabis industry that's highly regulated for both businesses and consumers versus a minimally regulated industry that has this very same product with no hurdles to businesses and consumers. And we're starting to see some of that kind of play out. We're starting to see some regulations happen, but regulations that are good for the industry to move forward and to have consumers have more confidence in us. So it's an interesting pathway that these industries are going, and there's going to be an intersection eventually with hemp and cannabis. Again, semantics. Plants don't know they have names. They're gonna intersect eventually. Because what we're seeing is medical cannabis companies stop being medical. They stop producing CBD and they stop producing other stuff as the recreational or adult use market opens up.
Wow.
So then you create a void, and then that's where we come in to try to supplement.
So you're filling that void. And the other thing is, Jeff and I were joking, and I'm like, you know what? Today, just kind of come in super casual. We wanted to dress like potheads. So that's why, no offense, Alpharetta, it's just the shirt I grabbed. Bad old shorts. Look at you. Your shirt has rips in it. I love Herman Cain. But we're just dressed like two dudes that are just stoners. And then look at the one guy that actually has the hemp company. He has a collar.
Well, perception is everything, and we got to make sure when we're running a cannabis company that the old school perceptions that were sold,
like these,
they're not continuing. I love Cheech and Chong. I grew up on it.
Yeah.
But that's not your everyday average individual that's a consumer. There was a High Times magazine back in the 90s I remember looking at, and there was a gentleman in a suit in a high-rise with his feet up on his desk overlooking a city. And I was like, wait a minute, that's a business guy being very successful with a joint and marijuana on his table. I want that to be me. Why can't that be me?
Right.
And so not that I do wear a suit, I don't even own one anymore, or a tie, but it was a perception of I can be successful.
Unless you die, he might show up at your funeral.
Better not. I will not do that. I'm going to wear something cool.
All right, something cool.
But again, I wanted that perception of, and that, I mean, at least my mentality of I can be successful and I don't have to be the stereotypical thing that they're pushing out there.
All right. Well, so now, we're at the point to where I need to do some biz real quick, because like what he does, it takes sponsors. And I am all about Joe Bees. That's bee pollen. I don't know where you are with bee pollen, but Joe Bees, it's JOEBEES.com. And I take 2 capsules a day and have for 6 years. And I think it helps me in a lot of ways. It gives me energy. But the bee is like one of these important things in the circle of life, and you got to have it. And I'm like, bee pollen. So it's helped with allergies. But along with kind of what we're going to get into in a second with Joe, it's like what it can do for you health-wise. And then, of course, I'm shallow when it comes to the bourbon, but I love it. So obviously we have this. But then mental health. Another thing that you might be able to help with too. All we're trying to do is help anybody. There's some people that drink to make problems go away. You smoke to make problems go away. Or can you just stay on your game, and can it make you just a better, sharper tool in the box? And for me, I will tell you that if you are going through something, call and get a hold of our guy. And our guy is Ridgeline Counseling. It's Dr. David Markwell. Dave Markwell. You can go to markwelltherapy.com. markwelltherapy.com. I'm going to say it twice, even though you can rewind this. But he's got a location in Blue Ridge, but he also has one right here in Marietta, and he will Zoom. And he's starting to deal more and more with more young people than older people. And he's just trying to get everybody's head in a good place. So if you're suffering, that's another great sponsor of the Yeah Come On Show podcast. But getting back to what you do, I think cannabis helps a lot of people. I know people that have angst. I know people that are dealing with cancer, or people that are just in a really bad place, and it kind of chills them out so the brains don't work overtime or allows them to sleep. How does what you do, and it's not pot, like we're dressed like. It is, but it isn't. So explain once again the difference. And you think this guy isn't for real? These drops right here, the Atlanta Braves endorse this. There's the Braves logo, and this is sports CBD oil, and athletes have been using cannabis forever. Yeah. I mean, so how, again, with what you're doing with the Georgia Hemp Company, and keep in mind, Joe now has 6 locations, and you can go in, store all 6 locations. You can look them up, georgiahempcompany.com, but you'll see the locations you can drive into and pick it up. You can come in and shop and meet some of the staff, or you can just do what most people do, which is order online and have it shipped to your home. Yeah, you're absolutely right. You have it shipped directly to your house, which is pretty amazing. No more dealer needed, right? I mean, you're killing the dealer. Fire your dealer.
Can you ship to other states?
We do, yeah. So we were actually in the New York Times right after COVID was ending for some of our gummies. And that really helped our national expansion out. Yeah, we ship all over every single day about 100 packages. Wow.
And it's not just about Georgia, but for us it is. This is where we live.
Right.
Our radio show is a Georgia radio show. We're trying to basically cover 90% of the state with our signals, but we're on an app where you can hear us and see us at any time on MyFox FM. We had Joe on the morning show, but I wanted to help you just because I love your golf tournaments that he does, and I know you raise money for charity and awareness. And I'm going to drink one of these babies. What am I about to drink?
So this is a 3 milligram THC can of spritz. It's a little bit of a seltzer with THC in it. No alcohol.
No alcohol.
And what we call this is a low dose at 3 milligrams, encouraging you to possibly have more than one, but certainly can stop at that one based on your milligram intake.
So I'm going to feel, is this going to relax me, make me feel...
We're going to have a nice relaxing, calming, maybe focusing kind of a situation
Would this
happening.
be like taking a gummy or half of it, like a piece of gummy?
It all has to do with milligrams. So depending on how many milligrams is in that gummy, right? We have all types of products for consumers, whether it's a suppository, a bath bomb, gummies, lotions, or
I'm not
a beverage.
doing a suppository.
So it's all about what is in there and the potency, just like a pill, right? How many milligrams? So this is a 3 milligram. A lot of gummies are in the 5 to 10 milligram range. And that's usually what you see in a Colorado or a market like ours where we're going to be regulated.
Yeah.
So this would be...
if you have 2 or 3 of those, it'd be like taking a Colorado.
And again, it would be over a period of time as well, right? And so you're kind of extending your intake on it versus having that all hit
all
at
at once.
once.
Yeah, which I've made that mistake. We've talked about that before, Claire.
You've made a lot of mistakes. Then again, Jeff is recently divorced for a second time, and it had nothing to do with pot. It's based on liquor. I think you drink beer. You drink too much.
There's an alcohol component for sure.
There's an alcohol. But you know what? This stuff helps, man.
And that's something we're seeing, and you're asking, what are people using cannabis for? I believe all use is a medical, or maybe not medical, a health use. We all have what we call an natural endocannabinoid system. And so cannabinoids are coming into the body, helping benefit you based on whatever's going on with your body. Maybe you have Crohn's, maybe you have anxiety, maybe I can't sleep, and cannabis is going to find what doesn't work for us and come in and try to help regulate that.
Unbelievable, man.
Really
I mean, it really is. And, you look at potheads, the way Jeff and I are dressed, and we're just letting you know that this is kind of out of style, man. You can get it, and so many states are starting to legalize it. Will legalizing in Georgia hurt or help your business?
Legalize, I think, is the wrong word. It's more about regulations, and regulations are set up for industries to evolve. And so if we keep it the way it is, right now the hemp industry, we can sell gummies and beverages and vapes and CBD lotions and oils. We're not allowed to sell smokables like flour.
Okay.
So when it comes to competing with a cannabis traditional market, that's going to primarily be the one thing that they have that we'll not have in the future is flour, a smokable flour. But what we're finding is people are smoking less. Vaping has become a thing.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Right?
Totally.
And so we see that category really being
100%.
strong.
And gummies, I think, are more popular than smoking.
Not everybody wants to smoke, especially as we get older. It makes us stink. So the vapes are a better option. Beverages are a better option. And again, when we go out to enjoy our life at a sporting event or a concert, what do we want? We want to be able to enjoy a beverage in our own situation, like you're saying, in our own world. This is my world. I want to control what I put in my body. Why do I have to purchase what you're offering? Why can't we have other options?
And I agree. And also, this is legal. I go, hey, officer, I'm fine.
It's 100% legal.
And
regulated.
Also, in this, I'm not a seltzer guy. That's why I'm a liquor guy. I like bourbon whiskey. I've always liked it. I like a cocktail versus beers. Whereas my partner here, Jeff, can pound 12 beers. I just can't do it. I don't even know how many times I go to the bathroom, but I can drink this all night and not pee till I get home. Was that healthy? I don't know. But I didn't have to run to the bathroom all damn night like guys like you.
Yeah, I do, yeah.
And, for me, and I also don't feel full, but I can tell you I'm not a fan of the seltzers. What is the crap everybody's drinking at the swimming pool?
The Trulies.
The
White Claws.
White Claws. You see me with a White Claw, you hit me. But I can tell you right now, this tastes good.
And I think that's the important thing is, does it taste good? Then you put THC in it. It's got to be a good product.
Yeah.
So even locally, we're seeing people like Scofflaw. They're starting to produce THC beverages and release those.
Now, and again, I'm just asking the question, as some people may know, if I have 2 or 3 of these and I'm relaxed due to the milligrams, it's like 3 milligrams, says right there of THC. then if I'm driving down the road, I'm not really impaired. I can't get a DUI, but I feel good.
Well, you can't maybe get a DUI, but you could be a DWI while intoxicated at some level. You definitely still don't want to be stoned and operating a vehicle, right?
See,
so,
that's the good. People need to know
yeah,
that.
it's the same scenario. Once you start consuming just like alcohol, you want to have an alternative mode of transportation.
But one of these,
I'm not advocating for just the one, but again, based on your tolerance and how it affects you, you could certainly take the chance.
I'll drink one of these and drive, because there
Sure.
comes a point, and it depends on your tolerance too. But all we're knowing now is that this is something that you drink it at the house, you drink it at the pool, you drink it where you're not having to operate a vehicle, but it relaxes you and it tastes so good. And just 3 milligrams, just knowing the benefits of cannabis, and I can get it in a can and it's not alcohol. Because alcohol is going to affect me so much more than this is. Mm-hmm. Just like I know guys that can't hit a golf ball drunk, but they can hit one stoned.
Yeah, or on mushrooms.
It almost sharpens some people.
It can help bring focus, absolutely.
That's what you said is the purpose of this drink.
We
it's
want
focus.
to slow down. We want to kind of get our thoughts together. And we want to be able to focus on things without the chaos of the world, without the chaos of whatever's going on, or having to worry about, can I fall asleep?
Right.
Is that pain in my hip going to stop? All these different things that people come in for is what we're trying to kind of help them with.
Does it help with penis size? Jeff's trying to get bigger.
We're still the research is still out on that. We're still doing some research. Jeff, maybe we can get you into the program.
I had to have a penis reduction last year. A lot of people don't know that. I had to have surgery.
But using cannabis, has that made it go back?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm right.
Well, and if you're doing that, you're less likely to suffer from whiskey dick. If you're getting high on the
answer that question. If somebody gets too drunk where they can't operate themselves in a bedroom,
cannabis is not going to help.
All right, but it's going to make so the benefits of cannabis. This goes. Sorry, Jeff.
It can absolutely arouse you. It can absolutely trigger some things inside for an arousal purpose. I mean, you start mixing, that's when machinery starts going bad.
All right, and I get it. Now tell me about this Atlanta Braves drop, because when I saw this. And I've known Joe now for 3 years since I did my very first golf tournament. And you talk about a golf tournament to get into, and I just want to mention that real quick. The Georgia Hemp tournament you do one a year.
It's the 420 Green Hat Classic. We follow up from the Green Jacket Classic in Augusta.
It's right after that. And we get on one of the nicest golf courses here in Georgia, in Atlanta. And we just have a big cannabis party. There's alcohol, but my vision is to try to have a cannabis event where we can all enjoy ourselves, remember what's happening without getting super blasted. And nobody gets blasted. I can tell you right now, I did your one tournament, and I went and I did afternoons on Rock 100.5. Right. Axel and I were both there. There's cookies that have a little cannabis. There's all kind, anything you drink, eat, and then the guy with the leaf blower blowing pot smoke. That was hilarious. It's a lot of fun, but it's so cool, and everything's regulated. And again, it's so healthy. Tell me about this real quick, Joe.
Yeah, we love sports. I came out of sports radio. A lot of our first patients were athletes, ex-NFL players, and so what we learned then was CBD is a great anti-inflammatory, pain reliever.
Bam.
Not only for your brains but for your body, and it can help you recover. And so what we have here is our NSF-approved CBD oil. NSF is an organization that tests for 288 contaminants to make sure that athletes feel safe about what they're putting into their body.
Or what's even approved. God knows we've seen people lose medals, lose
Absolutely.
all kinds of stuff because they took something they didn't realize what was in it.
That's absolutely right. And so MLB has opened up the window for their athletes to use cannabis, such as other leagues, so their players aren't necessarily using opioids and getting addicted to them and doing some bad things. And so cannabis, I think we've all realized the research is going to start coming once the FDA is allowed to do some research and colleges can do research. But yeah, this is helping athletes both focus, recover, and again, what that message says from an MLB or an Ironman or an Olympic organization that says, athletes can take this, which means you can too, right? It's almost like it's a NASA developed, approved type product that we can bring to the masses.
Dude, they got me hooked. What was that orange stuff when we were kids that was in the can?
Tang?
Tang. I drank Tang because the astronauts did. Damn it, this is the new Tang. But no, what you're doing is so great. So I want, if you're local in Georgia, then when this tournament comes up, who knows, it could be a nationwide tournament one day.
Absolutely.
The Green Hat tournament, which is awesome. I've done it 2 out of 3 times. It's a must, and it's a lot of fun. But for you, what you're doing, and again for the Yeah Come On Show podcast, you're a success story. You really are, and I wanted to say that to you. But you have a yin and yang. You have a partner. Obviously, you're the color. I'm the color. This is my more grounded guy. You have a grounded guy.
Yeah.
And do you want to talk about your team or how it all started here, just to know a little bit more?
Yeah, me and my partner started in a condo in Buckhead. We rented an extra condo above mine down off East Paces Ferry, and that's where this company was launched. We just grinded. We grinded for a year in that location before we could get a
office?
before we could get a store.
So is that your first store was in Atlanta?
Yeah, we were right outside the perimeter on Roswell Road.
Okay.
Do you know where the Punchline used to be?
Yeah, man.
We were in that shopping center, and I chose that so I could say that exact thing. You know where the Punchline used to be? Mm-hmm. And everybody would say yes. I'd say that's where we're located. Half a mile outside the perimeter on Roswell Road.
It's smart. You know what? That's way smart because Punchline moved, and
they did,
and that's where it used to be. And who knows? You remember when American Pie used to be? There's a lot of buildings that are gone.
Yep.
But you've been around now with 6 locations, and you're expanding. What's the future of the Georgia Hemp Company?
You know, with regulations down in the state of Georgia, it's allowing everybody to kind of come to the table and play. So anybody now can get a license to sell the products, which means our wholesale is going to grow tremendously.
Wow.
So if an ice cream shop wants to get a license to sell hemp, they can now. And now they can come to me and say, I'd like to get those gummies you're selling to go along with my ice cream. Or a hair salon. Maybe they want to carry some beverages and a couple extra things that their customers can go out the door with. They're a trusted source for their customer. And so we see that expanding. You're going to see beverages at every bar and every liquor store and every event moving forward, hopefully next year. You're already starting to see that out west. This is going to expand. This is going to be
I'm happy for you, man.
Outside of alcohol prohibition, as that ended, cannabis prohibition will end. And again, some people will say, let's wait for the election. I don't think the election has any weight.
I don't think it has anything to do with it.
Nothing. The election doesn't impact us like that. Both of them already say they're going to make this happen, but we also both know they're in big business pockets. So again, the trickle effect will eventually hit us. We keep pounding the drum. We build a good brand, and we just give customers what they want.
Are you looking for employees?
We're always hiring. We're always looking for good talent. We're in retail, so turnover does happen.
Turnover happen. It's just we want to have a good personality. I can tell you when the one location that I go to is off Roswell Road. There's a terribly old guy behind the counter with long hair. I think the dude was at Woodstock, and he's cool as hell.
He's cool as hell.
And I love talking to him. He's like my favorite person in there. And then you have a couple of very energetic people that I met just through doing some advertising with Joe. He's got a great staff. You want to meet him. You know what? It's a cool place to work, especially if, say, you're pierced right between your eyes. Maybe you want to work in a place like this. Or are you the businessman that's straight-laced but love the benefits and see the angle? And your salespeople that come in there, are they commission-driven? Or
No, they're not commission-driven. We pay them well.
Oh, you do pay them well.
We pay them well, and we encourage them to give full consultations. We don't want somebody coming in for a black coffee. This is about engaging and finding solutions.
Because when I go in, they're so knowledgeable, and they tell me, what are you into? What are your issues or whatever? And lastly, as we close this out, I just wanted you to say, what are you seeing of the benefits? And as far as your company right now, what can cannabis do for people that are out there maybe watching and have like, yeah, I heard out in L.A., man, you get there and everybody gets the little fake thing. They want to smoke pot, like Ron White. God knows I've been to his house. He has nothing but legalized marijuana from California in little like literally over-the-counter containers with names like Purple Haze. But what you're doing, again, is legal, and it helps and it relaxes. So just one more time, the benefits for taking Delta 8, Delta 9, or some of the other things.
Well, really, what can't it do? The research is out there. We need to do more of it. But I encourage everyone to try to go low and slow when they're looking for a solution. Mix your cannabinoids like CBD and THC together to get multiple benefits. But again, get a consultation. That's really what's important. Bring your issues to the table, and we can help you find the best solution. But again, the endocannabinoid system, there's pain, inflammation, anxiety, sleep. There's a slew of issues. So anything we can help you with, that's what we're here for. And we want to extend a discount code out to all of Steve's followers and listeners and fans out there. Steve10 will get you 10% off the GeorgiaHempCompany.com through the end of the year.
That's Steve 10. See, this is why you watched till the end. This is why. Because you got a discount. And again, sleeping issues and other issues, and drinking this drink's great. I would drink this at a pool before you would ever see a damn Truly in my hand. I'm not doing the alcohol, silly, goofy drinks, but this, I feel like it's cool. And I'll be honest with you, I don't want to put a joint up to my face.
People don't want to smoke. It's
I don't,
okay.
dude. And I got a wife, and Amanda won't mind me saying this. Your gummies have helped her sleep, and she loves them.
Has she tried the new sleep gummies we just released?
No.
We got some new sleep gummies. I should have. We'll get you a pack.
Sleep gummies.
Yeah, they got CBN in there. So CBN, THC, and CBD. The CBN helps with sleep.
People are plagued by restless leg syndrome, by thoughts in your head. You can't shut your mind off, and you can't get rest. Body does not work without rest, period, end of story. I've learned that as a morning guy over the years. If you can grab 7, you need 7. If you can get 8, I'll high-five you all day. This could help, and it also can help with anxiety. Learn what it can do for you. Go into a location or call a location. Just go to the Georgia Hemp Company. They'll help you. They're the coolest people in the world, and they're totally informed because this guy makes sure they are. It was a pleasure having you on. Can I get
Thank
a
you.
yeah, come on, Joe?
Yeah, come on.
There you go.